What is up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Movie Files. Joining me, as always, is a little brother Jayce. Welcome back from the honeymoon. I know this is why we could not do this episode last week, because somehow you did not want to spend your honeymoon talking about TV shows, which I'm kind of questioning your entire commitment to the entire brand here. What's up, bro shot?
I think I made the right call.
I'm not going to argue with you. I think you did as well.
And once you see what topic we're on, yeah, you guys can be like, he made the right call.
So maybe you can tell from my shirt, but the thing for sure that is guaranteed, no argument, no discussion whatsoever. The Ezra Miller starring Flash film will not be the worst Flash thing in 2023. No matter how bad it is, it can't be as bad as this last stretch of the Flash TV series. Are we on the same page with this?
You know, it was funny. Like I know we talked to our cousin Dwayne, and we were like, after that Arrow episode, I'm not gonna watch anymore. And then I was like I'm working from home, so I'm like, let me see what this Flash is. Okay, this isn't too stupid. All right, this isn't bad. And then as I went to the next one, okay, there's some going on here. Okay, I mean, there's some silly, but then this episode happened.
No, it was interesting because I was on board after the first episode. I was like, okay, This is cool. Then the second one was like, I don't know, guys. I think you may be going down a path I can't follow. And then episode 3 was like, oh boy, yep, this is the Flash that I've known and known. And I don't know why they felt the need to devote an entire episode to here's what was going on with Team Flash while Barry was away. Like, do we not know how many episodes are left in the season? No. Does anyone care about Keon? No. Also no. And let's rehabilitate Mark because he's a sucker, and we need to just reiterate how much of a punk sucker he is every opportunity we can get.
Why did he not just stick with Captain? I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, other than the fact Red Death was stupid, really, couldn't we have just let that one? I mean, he had a very legit reason for totally. I turned back because y'all screwed me. Okay, that's it.
Y'all didn't have my back whatsoever.
Oh wait, and I saved him. Oh yeah, and then you still left me out to die.
Right.
You Barry might get it. You might be cool. You know, you get a pass, Barry. But the rest of these dudes were yanking you back. Yeah. Barry. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like, if they did some Pied Piper early on, it's like, hey, you're cool, but the rest of you dudes, that would have been the exact thing. It's like, oh, if I see you on the street, we're gonna have some words. But Mark just, I'm a sucker. Oh, Keon, you're so wise. What this?
Oh, hold on. We can't start that just yet. We cannot. All right, let's see here because I feel the need to really break this thing all the way down. So
the funny thing is you got lucky. I decided to do the last two as a double header.
See, I knew better after that part 3. I was like, nope. I was all set because one of our very loyal readers and watchers of the podcast was like, you guys should do a live episode of the series finale. And I said, you know what? That could be kind of cool. Yeah. And DJ Blizzard was like, yo, you should do it. And I said, that would be fun. But you're away, so you could have passed for that. But man, I don't know if either of us could handle the level of eye rolls we would have had watching this episode live.
Well, the funny thing is, even as much as I said, it's like one of the two of us censors himself on the podcast. I don't know if I would have been able to censor myself half as much watching that.
That's a fair point.
I don't think the eye rolls, like, what the beep, would have been just so coming out of me so quick. It would have just been ridiculous. So I think that was for our censorship purposes. Yeah.
That worked out best. All right. Yeah. So let's rehash what happened in part 3 because I feel like that's important. So Keon is giving everybody an update on Iris instead of Cecile, who's like, oh, thanks so much for giving us this update. Like, Iris is her stepdaughter, so why is she not at the hospital? And why is Allegra there? And then I realized that Allegra was the director of the episode, and that's why she wasn't around. And it was like, okay, well, all right. Then we get the Speed Force version of Nora showing up again, and I don't know why they felt the need to continue this just to make things confusing so they can go Nora. And it's like, well, which one are we talking about? Are we talking about
you.
Speed Force version? Are we talking about the future teenage version? Or are we talking about the still to be born Nora?
Or his mom, Nora.
Right. I mean, it's just unnecessary confusion. And it's like, come on, guys, what are we doing? And then we jump to the future, 2049. And I don't know why the makeup department decided to join the Writers Guild strike, but they did. And we're like, yeah, we don't care if this is 20 years down the future. We're not doing any makeup on these cats. No grays, no wrinkles. Everybody looks exactly the same way they did as the present day.
That, remember when you said, what was the exact moment I texted you? That was it. I'm like, wait a minute. I understand Cecile is supposed to be young, but she's dating Joe.
Exactly.
I hate to tell you this, guy, but 27 years might be a stretch here, people.
Yeah,
come on.
What are we doing?
At least give her a daggone wrinkle. Iris at least put on the gray wig. Why? Yeah. Seriously, trust me. I don't know a dude who's 27 years got a full head of dreads and then have a daggone piece of gray in their thing.
If anything, his hair should have been pulled back. His hairline should be receding. I mean, something.
Dude, call Ezekiel. Hey, dude, you got that wig? I know you.
Not using it anymore.
For a day.
Can I hold that piece? So yeah, it was really, really confusing. I'm watching do y'all understand? You said this is 27 years down the road, and then they try to throw us a bone with Barry's at the Watchtower, presumably with the Justice League, and I'm like, you guys have gone way too far to throw in some Justice League reference and me get excited.
You've already had Justice League. I mean, besides Batman,
right?
Now it's Batman and I'm sorry, we've already had Superman. The only person we don't have. I'm sorry. Did Batwoman pay for the Watchtower?
I don't know, because clearly they couldn't use Bruce Wayne's money anymore. So all kinds of problems with that. Then they go, hey, check out Cecile's costume. And I'm wondering where Allegra's costume is. She's been a superhero way longer than Cecile, and she's still just running around like she's an extra from the X-Men.
I'm sorry. Was that like a costume that Dreamer threw away?
It's the leftover scraps. We're not making any more episodes of Supergirl. You can use
it. We had some costume material. Yeah, she's short. Yeah, let's just give her that one.
We'll just change the front.
I did the measurements wrong. I thought she was 5 foot nothing. She's 5'6". So we just gave it to her.
Just don't show the pants. All right, so then we get Eddie popping up at the Flash Museum, and then somehow the Negative Speed Force decides to create an illusion of Nora. But now she's got blonde hair because Eddie has blonde hair. I'm not quite sure if that's how genetics work in that case. But yeah, it was a bad wig. I mean, he was the one. That's where they spent the entire wig budget on, Nora's crappy wig. So we got that.
I'm sorry. It was just so many things okay. Just to make sure this is a different one, we'll make her blonde.
It's terrible. What's up, Mike? Mike saying, you won't get me to go back. I missed too much. Mike, don't go back. Don't go to the red and yellow light. Just don't go. Don't go. Walk away. Do what we should have done, because the show does not love us back. Yeah. And at all.
It should. I mean, honestly, it's that arrow cross. I mean, the arrow for now should have been this. They could have
just cut it.
They could have literally dropped that after this episode and been fine.
I think they still had the annoyance that was Keon still popping up, so no reason for that.
Chef, what?
Yeah. Speaking of Keon, so this episode, they decide now that this flower child who could barely put together a coherent sentence in the first episode of this season is now a goddess. So everything she does now can be written off with, well, she's a goddess. And they knew this was where they were going to go, presumably, from the first episode. And instead of her naming plants Kesha, very topical reference, they don't do any build-up beside a few flurries of snow coming when she kisses Mark. Now all of a sudden she's super powerful, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, whatever hero character you need her to be in any scene, just because.
Okay, And I was trying to figure out is this like what y'all were going with? None of this truly connects, but I'm like, is this part of what they were trying to do with the original Killer Frost thing? Like her dad pulled Killer Frost. I'm like, maybe somebody did the cliff notes like they did in Smallville season 7. Like it's a writer's strike. Son over there, yeah. Remember that Veritas? Yeah, that just pull him in there.
I know what happened. The writers actually jumped ahead to late 2023 during the writer's strike. So then they tried to hurry up and throw this season together in the end. And we are like, just blame it on the writer's strike. But then we check the notes and go, well, the writer's strike actually happened after your show aired. Oops, you got that, did you? Yes, we did. So then we're just doing all kinds of funniness. Chester decides, because there are no DC movies or TV shows in the history of the Arrowverse, he decides, basically, without naming it for a change, Cecile, why don't you go Days of Future Past, hop into your future self, a power that you've never had any ability to do whatsoever, and then help Flash out. Because he's in 2049.
Well, remember when everybody was leveling up and Cecile displayed this power? No, it didn't happen. Oh my gosh!
I feel like that would have been a whole level up episode. Maybe they should have done that as opposed to spending time with Becky and her bad luck powers. Just a thought.
Just a thing. No, but that would have meant actually having to have the Flash on the Flash, and he very much said, yo, 13's way too much for me. I'm really trying to keep this episode count really about 2-3 in here for real. That's where I want to keep it right.
That's my sweet spot. Yeah, Grant was like, how long do I have to shoot? It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be real tough.
My real contract says 13. My time count says 3 at best.
Let's get this moving, people. So there's just so much ridiculousness throughout the whole deal with this. So help me out, because math is more your strong suit than mine. Let's say Cecile was not 12 when she started hooking up with Joe. 27 years from now, how old would she be if she were, say, 20?
Okay, Joe. Let's put it nicely. Cecile's about 45 because she does have a grown daughter who's used to be stripping. Okay, so let's just start there. So at least put her in that 40 realm. Okay?
So let's tack on 27 more years. How old would that make her?
67.
Wow. I feel like shaky math is shaky, but why did they feel the need to throw Cecile in there? Like, of all the characters, she's probably not the one you want to go with there.
And also not to age at all.
Right,
it's like
she had some great streaks, but that was it. Like, man, they're doing some amazing things with Botox and save every aspect of your body in 2049.
I mean, I thought at one point they were trying to make some reference to some time bandit war. It's like, nah, you need a whole lot more people to try.
Or to just rewatch Time Bandits. Probably better use of time. But my favorite part about the entire episode was the fact that Cecile got upset. She was like, what? I'm not spending any time with Joe and Jenna. And I'm like, Jenna should be in her 30s now. She shouldn't be coming over every day for pancakes for mom.
Yeah.
What is Joe going to be doing? Joe should be like in the senior center, or like, can you give me some more drinks there, Cecile? What in the world? It's ridiculous.
They just did not want to admit the fact that they called their 27 years, but they didn't want to add to their age. Like 27 years, like that's tomorrow.
Yeah, no, they don't want to commit to anything.
Like it's literally like, yo, this is your math. You put it here, and it's like.
That was your call. It was a bad call, Ripley.
Oh my gosh, I don't spend any time with my kids. You don't spend any time with them now. Like, right. It's like it's in her formative years. You're like, man, Joe, you got that. I'll catch you on the weekend.
And the worst part is that entire storyline was so stupid. They could have just written Joe off. Hey, he's at home with the girl who we never see anyway. But they were like, nah, we got to go hard with this. He's got to move to a whole other city, and Cecile's going to be upset. And we're never going to really pay this off in our 13 episodes. We're just going to talk about it and come up with dumb subplots for Cecile, because that's what will happen.
Okay, you needed to have a Joe send-off if Joe was never coming back in the show. But he did.
He kept
Like,
coming back.
need to have a thing like he's not dead. He's
Right.
literally come back. We know he's scheduled to come back for the finale. So why are we having a thing that he's not here? It's just like he's retired from police force because supposedly he's too old to be doing police force work. But yet 27 years later, he's perfectly kicking it with the daughter. Okay.
But the other thing is, they could have just recorded shots of him in this magical new house that they got for so cheap. Hey, baby, yeah, can't wait to see you this weekend, and we'll have the pancakes and everything all set. All right, give my best to Wally and Barry and Iris, and yeah, I'll see you. Oh, yeah. Joe, I'll see you later.
Again, why do we need to do any of that? Like, seriously, like he's a retired cop, basically, who's a stay-at-home dad. You don't need to, you can literally call Joe, like, hey, use some old Joe recordings. Joe, insert Joe here. Like, Joe, hey, how you doing? Cecile, hey,
we'll just do our chat.
Everyone. Like,
chat. We'll do our chat AI for that and just throw Joe in. Or we just have him record a few lines just to keep everybody happy.
Like, that was just, it's like, I mean, you did not need to do anything. Like, Joe was a beloved. He didn't, if the show was gonna continue after the season, you needed Joe to have a send off. But when the whole thing and said, "Hey, we're all done here," you didn't need a send off.
Yeah. So then Barry arrives at the 28-minute mark of the episode, which was amazing. I just figured he was going to commit fully to not showing up the entire episode. It was like, this is the second to last episode. I guess I have to show up here. All right, bet.
I gotta have at least 1 minute credit to say I was in every episode of my own show.
It's terrible. So then he talks to Eddie. Hey, man, I didn't steal your life, honest. You can have that whack version of Nora with the blonde wig and everything. And then Eddie's gym infects XS, who somehow doesn't know about this gym because she was in the past. And I don't understand why they continue to act like she should know everything that happened to her dad. Hey, that looks like the gym that possessed Eddie and everyone else. Maybe I should pick it up. Oh, shoot, it was the gym that possessed everyone, and now it's possessing me.
Yeah, because even when they try and like just play it off like, oh, everything's happened at the same time, it's like, yeah, that's kind of not how you could do that, because even if something's happening in the past, it could not actually be happening at the same time in the present. Your present. It's just
their logic never checks out.
I mean, I was just like, okay, like when you have Thrawn time travel, you guys tend to do it pretty well. But this was basically season 2 Heroes, writer's strike. Doesn't even make sense. Just throw it on paper. Nobody.
Hey, that was when the writer's strike was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we get a cool fight with XS, the possessed version, but Barry can't hurt his daughter, of course. So then it takes Cecile to come back, and somehow she's now learned the secrets of Doctor Strange. She teleported into the Ancient One and then learned that secret of transporting someone from their body into the astral plane and separated XS in the gym. And all of a sudden, hey, she decides I'm a superhero now, and you can call me Virtue. And this was the second to last episode.
So, do you also remember, like 3 weeks ago, Cecile was having trouble using a football?
Hey, man, this show does not care about your memory. They're uninterested.
Like, guys, like, I get it. Like, you guys basically try to do almost like how every one of the CW shows goes. Like, all right, so our main character Sissy might leave. So we're going to do something to make the show keep going. And we're going to call the show The Flash. But The Flash will never be there. It's like, but you guys already knew. Unlike how, what was it, Supergirl, where basically Kara was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. I'm probably going to peace out here, homies. So you guys made the whole show about Dreamer and Martian Manhunter. And Martian Manhunter basically putting the Superman Justice League, I'm out half the damn time. But this was like, hey, you guys know there's nothing happening after this, guys. So you don't have to try and make that happen. I know I said that 1,000 damn times, but seriously, like, there was no reason for it. It was just like, hey, let's just have the status quo. Let's make some good stories. Like, I mean, hell, like the joint with Bloodwork. Like, Bloodwork is literally like, it's almost like every time you see Bloodwork, on the screen, you're like, damn, this is going to be a good episode. Because I know my man from Heroes will not allow himself to get heroed again. He's not going to become a giant spider or some ridiculousness. It's like, nope, if you want me on a sci-fi show, I got to see the script and it's got to be good. Like, that, it was just like, guys, you don't have to do this. Like, come up with a good end of show Flash story. And just, I mean, hey, if you got a limited amount of, like, Granny said, hey, I got a new baby girl. I can't be on set 18 hours. Okay, we'll make it happen. We'll do something. We'll do some magic. But you don't need to, like, oh, we're going to come up with Cecile gets leveled up 5 times, and Keone is now a super goddess, and Mark is also a god or something? No, I never
they don't know
how the heck what was his deal was. Like, are you and Keone the same person? Now,
they have no idea.
Yes. There is truth to the reason why I don't know this. Because the whole straight up Keone episode, I just somehow did not watch and have not looked back at all.
I'm going to tell you, you missed absolutely nothing. They did not explain this transition to godhood. She literally wrote a letter to Mark in like the opening moments of the episode and was like, I've been on a journey of self-discovery and I've encountered all of my powers thanks to the help of Argus. And they was like, poof, now she's super powerful and can do anything the writers need her to do in every scenario.
Like, so how would it, who's the wizard at Argus? I mean, like, you could say it was Cisco, but I don't think they did
not mention Cisco. Because Cisco was like, don't associate me with this crap of this season. All right, so now it's time for the series finale of The Flash. And after watching part 3, I delayed daily watching this episode because I needed to be in a headspace where I was in a decent enough mood not to just destroy it. That did not work because it was just like it handed me the dial, the device, and said, here, press the button.
Press the button.
This was so bad. I feel like I need to steal Barry's time travel ability just so I can stop myself from going to continue watching the series after Crisis on Infinite Earths.
You know,
it was so bad.
What was the part?
What was the part?
I mean, like, what was? I mean, like, I know my part when I literally just like, you guys got to be kidding me! Like, this is just so stupid. Like the 20. Oh, we're just gonna act like that's not a thing.
All right, I'm gonna. So let's go with the beginning when Cobalt Blue assembles the Legion of Speedster supervillains. So we get Godspeed and not the fat, out of shape sitcom slug bag. Keep the noise down, Rick Rude. And we got Godspeed, we've got Zoom, we've got Savitar, and we've got Thawne Reverse Flash. Why didn't he go? I'm sorry, we got Wells Reverse Flash. Why didn't he go with Thawne Reverse Flash 2? Make it a whole deal. I mean, no, that would be too many speedsters.
Because we're gonna have no matter what, we're gonna bring back Wells. Like, okay, we got one budget for one Thawne.
I would have happily taken more episodes of Wells because it just felt weird and random to have him show up at the end. But so we get these guys. Eddie gets a cool suit. He confronts Barry. Iris gets the grand honor to say, "Run, Barry, run," one final time. And I feel like that might have been the 752nd time we heard somebody say "Run, Barry, run" on the show. Maybe
it's a running joke. I mean, at this point,
yeah,
it's just nobody else laughing. That's the problem.
Yeah. And then Eddie Thawne, Cobalt Blue is fighting Barry, and I'm like, dude, where is the lightsaber? Because that's the ultimate weapon in Flash speedster fights. And he actually pulls it out. I'm like, oh gosh, this show.
No, he's got a force pike.
He's got something.
Okay,
let's save him because Flash can never save himself in any situation in any fight anymore.
Okay. Now, I was like, okay, guys, like, do you kind of remember how Zoom was?
Oh, Gunner, what's up, Gunner? 1,000th time. They've said it at least in the 9 seasons. You're absolutely right. Like a million.
That was their 100th anniversary, 1000th anniversary.
They said, all right, cut. Let's get the cake out here. And Run Barry Run was on top of the cake.
But the thing is, like, Zoom in a room full of those speedsters would have stolen our speed.
He absolutely would have. They don't remember.
Oh, you guys are talking? You guys are idiots. I am a psycho. I'm siphoning your speed and going to be. It's like, especially, God, was it Godspeed?
Yeah.
Godspeed
popped off on him.
He would not have been like, oh, word? Like,
no. Yeah, because I think they said in the crossover about 12 times.
Oh, God.
Per crossover.
That was per episode of crossover. Like, is Barry on the screen? Run, Barry. Like, wait, do you want me to get muffins? Run, Barry. What the? I mean, it's like, it's like, there was no way you're gonna like. This is a dude who killed Barry's father. You're not gonna have him like being just getting. Oh, hey, how you going? I'm pontificating. Oh, I'm best.
Hey guys, nice to meet you.
My goal is to prove. I was literally going to destroy the multiverse to prove that I was the fastest. I'm not talking to you people. Like, just. No, it was just like, oh, and you're going to make me faster? I was literally expecting, as soon as he said that, Zoom was going to literally kill him to take exactly what makes him faster and kill all the rest of them. Like, guys, I don't care what you like. This dude is not. He's not. Hunter Zone is not rational. He's an actual psycho killer who ended up getting.
Psycho killer!
So I was just like, guys, this makes no sense. Like,
yes,
I mean, I know you guys punked out Godspeed to be danged. Like, he's actually a decent character. I mean, but you guys made him just a moron. So
they put him on Mark-like level.
I mean, so it's like, okay, so then, okay. So, Reverse Flash is the most rational person here.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that's it. But then, I think, and then, yes, you see my this clenching so much because it was literally like, how quickly each one of them got punked.
Hold on. Don't listen.
Oh my gosh. Go.
All right. So XS has to save Barry because the Flash is incompetent of defeating anyone anymore. And then it's like the whole squad comes out. We've got you beat Cobalt Blue. I've got my man Chillbane who got punked out by a bunch of random people, just regular basic non-speedster rogues in Red Death. I've got Cecile, aka Virtue, in this piece. I've got Allegra. She didn't even have a code name. Light Bright, Star Bright, Rainbow Bright. She didn't even have a costume, but she's still out here with me. And I've got the goddess Keone along with my daughter XS. What you got? And Cobalt Blue goes, I got you, son. I got Savitar. I got Godspeed. I got Reverse Flash. I got Zoom. And I got me.
Like,
and then Barry goes, this is my favorite part. Barry goes, execute Delta maneuvers. How the heck does anybody know what Delta maneuver was?
Like, oh my gosh, how have you ever had enough time to train together? Because Cecile just got her powers yesterday. How do you know? Oh, Delta maneuver. Oh, got it. Like,
how does Cecile know? How does Keone the plant know? How does Mark, who's been pieced out with his team for the absolute longest time, know anything about their training maneuvers?
Yes, they did.
Yes, Gunner, they gave Cecile a name. It's the word, like, what's the worst possible name they could give a telepathic, telekinetic? Oh, yeah, Virtue. Well, there you go. That's what we got.
Hey, it was on the chalk. It was on the dartboard, okay? It's not our fault, okay? We threw a name. It hit Virtue. Whatever. Look.
It's like they had a wheel and it was just like, oops, we didn't want it to land on that one. Yeah, the execute Delta maneuvers.
Who are we to disagree with the wheel?
Yeah, Delta maneuvers was so bad. And apparently, one part of a Delta maneuver was for Allegra to go back to Star Labs in case someone decided to take out Chester.
Who needs to take out Chester? He's useless. Like, oh my gosh, if I take out Chester, I will kill the brains of the Flash. Like, no.
Nah, man. See, Gunner, Jimmy Olsen becoming Guardian at least made sense because Jimmy Olsen was jacked. He looked like he could throw down and beat up some people. Cecile is like 5'2", and then it's like, we're gonna make her the most powerful character on the show.
Like, now we got Keone. Like, I mean, I'm trying. I guess
no, because Star Trek actually used Delta maneuver well.
Okay,
but again, that's another case of them using something else.
How can the Delta maneuver be to split up? You guys aren't good. Like, why would you want to split up? Like, your best move is, hey, everybody run in opposite directions. No, like
against speedsters. So there should be no movement. Like, how is Cecile getting away from Godspeed? He should just like run through her literally and break her like we saw on The Boys. Like, that should literally be it with her. Allegra, oh man, I got dirt in my eye. Oops, now I'm dead too. Savitar.
I'm sorry. Oh, now I'm like, wait, who's Allegra fighting? I'm like, that was laughable. Like, stop that. Like, again, like, so, I mean, because again, and I'm sorry, for anybody who didn't want, she was going against Harry Wells' Reverse Flash, the actual architect who literally spent 10 years, 20 years making Barry the Flash, gets punked out by Lightbright. Like,
this was after he decides to Emperor Palpatine Chester, and he's just like, now you will die. And Chester is just like, I'm
again. Dead. Okay, Jeff. Hey,
yeah.
Did you watch Flash season 1?
I did. That was a great show.
Do you know how when Reverse Flash wanted to kill somebody? Yeah, it was not 2 seconds. It was literally put my hand through your chest, gone. Like Simon Stat, gone. Like how many? He's just like, no, I'm not. It's like unlimited power. Like, no.
It's like when you're watching wrestling and the wrestler hits their finisher and the ref goes 1, 2, and there's enough time for the 3 count, but it's like, you're not kicking out, so I have to go.
Come on, kick out.
Like that was that. And I was like, oh, come on, man. How's he surviving this? Allegra comes through with a little light bright display, knocks out the main season 1 villain that harassed, tormented Barry all season and throughout the entire series with just a light show.
Like, this show lasted 9 seasons. Reverse Flash, conservative, was a main villain in 6 seasons. Like, because I was even like, oh, well, he won one, but I'm like, the one with Cicada. No, he was the main one at the end of Cicada season. Like, no, it was like, guys, like, how do you have him, the architect of all of this, getting punked out by one move? Like, other than, you could have just not had him there. You could have
that would have been better.
Because he's actually the one supposedly dead in the reverse in the negative Speed Force. Like,
listen, you could. I told you when that happened, they were not going to stick to him being dead. I'm like, why are we even going through this joke? We know he's not dead because y'all can't do anything else but pull out these speedster villains. Yeah. So then we had Savitar, and he's like, oh, I'm going to shiv XS. And XS decides I'm going to use this vibration power because I can. And then she pulls off the spear from his shiv and then stabs him with it. Why in the world would he not vibrate? And also, how in the world is XS just randomly killing off supervillains and nobody cares? She's like, sway.
Jeff, do you know who Savitar really is?
Her daddy?
Oh. Yeah!
Maybe it's her dad from the reality of which she actually exists.
Like, I mean, again, it's like, guys, like, Nora is like, you guys just, y'all were throwing bad guys. And I know you saw the episode of Arrow where they just had all, like, when Arrow came back and then all the bad guys came, and then you had Death, Terminator, right. You had all Slade Wilson, you had all of Malcolm Merlin, you had them all thrown in there. And then they had this really good fight scene. But you didn't actually equate the fact that every one of those people were actually equals. They could have actually had a round or something like.
Gunner, they wrote themselves into corners of circles of triangles and squares with very tiny boxes that they could not move in anymore. It was the most ridiculous thing. I mean, this whole fight with all the main season villains getting punked out by Team Flash was the worst. But the worst was Zoom. And he's like doing like Tasmanian Devil, and he's running around the whole joint. And then we see Captain Kramer, we see Sin, and we see Captain Korber, who I'm pretty sure got killed at the beginning of episode 3 or part 3 of this thing when she got sucked into the black hole. And he's like, I killed her. Yeah, you did, dude. Wait, Jeff, why is she showing up?
What happened to the captain that was a meta-human that could take any meta person? Oh, wait, she was right there. Why was she not fighting for Team Flash? Like, at least she could actually say, I can go with, hey, if all these supervillains are here with superpowers, I can extra super speed with them. Did we forget that?
But the thing, I mean, it's so dumb. Where was Mina? another speedster who would have helped fight against these guys. She would have been happy to fight Thawne. Oh, word, you're the dude that killed my Thawne. I mean, it's just like, come on. Like, Gunner, we could play pool with all the holes and corners and Flash and do so much because they were tripping hard with just ridiculous stuff.
Let's go back and actually explain how Zoom, who literally in our season 2 went to a police station, killed the whole police force before they could even figure out they were dead.
Yeah. And that's exactly what he would have done with this crew. Oh, cool. More villains. He wouldn't have stopped to pose and been like, oh, I have more victims. He'd have just like wiped them out. And then Keone was right. What was Keone right about? How in the world did she have time to go from Delta Maneuver to assembling the full police force to barricade a road with the thought that that was going to be enough to stop Zoom? He just literally ran through him and just killed them all. He put his arms out and just sliced heads of everyone who was in his path. Like, you're not blocking me from anything.
No, like Zoom. I mean, that's when I always say like to try and neuter a villain. It's like no, like Zoom was insane. Like there was no like Savitar at least had a method to his madness because he's trying to become the god of speed. Zoom was I'm just trying to be the fastest.
Yeah, and I'll kill anyone who's gonna stop me.
I've literally taken I'm use these whole other worlds to make sure I can kill the speedster, take their power, and keep it moving. Like this was not like again like I think that was the dream. I'm just like no, he's not. He sees these guys who are talking. He's already taken their damn power. Like he's not. It's like oh, there's something in the negative speed force that can make me faster. I'm already there.
Oh, I'll do that.
Like, it's like, oh, Cobalt Blue, you've got a thing. I've already gone to it.
Yeah.
Because I've had duplicates because that was the thing he learned he taught Barry how to do duplicates. He's not getting punked out by one Keone. He's got 3 versions of him killing all these people. Like,
and then Keone just like stopping the lightning bolt. And just like, I'm done with
you. Lightning wasn't his thing. It was snapping necks. Like,
it wasn't.
Time. Like, I mean, he was like, it's what's his name? Reverse Thrawn Thrawn said, "You're a hot dog, the Velocity 9 junkie," and he's like, "Yep."
Give me more. That was, they had done so much eye roll and stuff with Keone that didn't even matter to me. But it's like, oh gosh, come on, y'all. I feel like if they thought about it just a little bit, they could have made it make more sense by having Allegra fight Savitar, because at the very least her light show could have disoriented his helmet and mask just long enough for her to possibly beat him, and Chester could press some gizmo gadget to break the suit or whatever. There was a way where that could have worked. Then XS could have gone after Wells because you killed a version of me. They have history that's right there. And then Zoom could have gotten in the way of Cobalt Blue and Flash because he's crazy. And maybe Keone and Chilbane do some free stuff to slow him down a little bit.
What happened to Chilbane in Delta Maneuver?
He sat and watched.
Because I was trying to remember that. He's like, I got my furry man costume on. I got my abs showing. Hey, what are you going to do in Delta Maneuver?
He actually looked ridiculous. He looked ridiculous in that scene. Now, I thought that costume's been fine, but he looked absurd at night, just sitting there.
Like,
Keone, you're so dreamy. I love what you do. You're amazing.
Here for no reason. Like, what are you doing?
No reason. You should have been helping Cecile fight a speedster.
Okay, Jeff. All right. How did Cecile get to the top of that? Like the elevator, just literally, it's got enough time. Press her button. Can I get to the 4th floor?
What's up, Keith? My man Keith Cooper in the building. So Barry never been the fastest man on the show. I quit after the double marriage. Keith, I wish. Well, listen, I think they have some pretty fun crossovers. But the double marriage was the point where Iris should have slapped Felicity and called it a night, and that should have been it. But yeah, man, I don't know if I would say you missed a whole lot. Pick up whatever season is cheap and get that one, whichever one has Crisis, because all of their seasons for that year have Crisis. Just get one. Was that season 5 of Arrow? Nah, it was season 8 of Arrow.
No, it was later.
Yeah, that was the last one. So I guess
Arrow.
Yeah, go with season 7 of The Flash because that season up to Crisis is really good. It was like, wow, this show is so great. And then it just went off the cliff, crashed into a fiery wreck, exploded at everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Gunner was right there too.
Because I mean, there's I think if you look online, most people say it's like Crisis was their high point, and after that, they had no idea what to do because it was like, hey, we're gonna wrap up Arrow on Crisis. It's like, okay, cool, like because Crisis is a big point for Flash. And you're like, okay, so what happened? What do we? It was like they did this really good, like blood work up to Crisis. I mean, that was
great.
Really good.
That was,
and then
really
it was like, after Crisis, like, so blood work's done, Oliver's done. If you did that for Arrow, a far better. That was the last you need to watch Arrow because that Arrow finale was like, I'm sorry, wait, he brings everybody back into this new world. Nobody's gonna. Hey, is there any legal repercussions of, hey, I don't actually exist on this world, but my doppelganger's a rich mofo? I like collecting on that. Like,
I just hope he brought back Prometheus. So lots of dumb stuff, but I feel like that if you just watch Crisis, and I don't feel like Crisis is amazing and awesome. I think they did about as good as they could, juggling everybody's schedules, but they went way sideways with the story. And I feel like it would have been so much better if they just read through Crisis, the 12-issue maxi series, and take what they could have done, like devote a whole episode to the villains fighting each other or fighting the heroes. That could have been episode 3, and then have them fight the Anti-Monitor, and just something, because I felt like they just stuck to the story of Crisis. It'd have been so much better than coming up with those paragons of virtue and how Lex Luthor's here and Batgirl, who we just introduced.
Hey,
now she's somebody special.
Okay, Batgirl's a thing until she.
No, actually, she's not. She's going to leave.
She wants out the next after the Crisis is over.
Unlike the comics, post Crisis was the beginning of the end with all these shows. Yo, it was bad. Kate Ollie, a mass murderer, got to skip jail. Oh, he did go to jail, and that was good too. I mean, they were doing some good stuff.
No. That Oliver in jail season was trash.
Wait a second. No, wait. The Flash in jail storyline, which is also terrible that we have to mention, have a distinction between which superhero in jail story arc was better. I thought the Oliver one was better because that gave Team Arrow a purpose. It gave them something to do, and Oliver's up there in prison doing his thing. But the Flash one made zero sense. It was like, are y'all even paying attention to what the other show's doing?
Like, hey, you know what really worked last season? We had Oliver in jail. So Barry said Grant says he needs a little extra time with his wife. So can we go to, a Flash in jail season? Like, see what happens?
Yes, Gunner's with me. Flash in jail. That's there. See, Legends of Tomorrow was not a great superhero show, and I feel like they sold us a bill of goods to start. It was like, it's going to be this amazing show with all the outcasts, all the people that we don't have enough time to just vote to on Flash and Arrow. We're going to put them into the spinoff show. And that premise was cool, except for throwing in Captain Cold and Heatwave, because like Barry needs 2 of his big villains, and they were just like, nah, everybody loves them. We're going to make them anti-heroes, which is terrible. But the show became something different. And once you got past there, this is not the show we were promised. They had a really fun season 2 where they fought the Legion of Doom, and that was cool. But then it was this wacky, weird sci-fi show where they very rarely use their powers or put on costumes. And if you go along with that premise, it was fine. It went off all the rails later on, but for most of its run, it was actually pretty entertaining if you just ignored the fact that they were supposedly connected with the Arrowverse.
Which most of us didn't.
I'm just saying it was better. Worst running joke, Mr. Terrific Cornrows and being a so-called top athlete. I hated everything about their version of Mr. Terrific, who was an amazing, awesome character in the comic books. One of the absolute best new characters they've created in the 90s. They did the cornrows thing, which is like, dude, he's got a magic device that lets Felicity walk up out of a wheelchair just as Oliver apologizes, and he's got something to spritz in his hair that pulls him out of the cornrows just in time for a fight.
Okay.
All good old CW supers with no super. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Like, Mr. Terrific is always going to be one of those sore spots for me because it's like, guys, you didn't have to do him like that. and it's like it's like this dude is supposedly a genius level, like because you like every time you talk about Mr. Terrific, like, oh, we're gonna talk about Curtis. I was like, no, go with your guy. He's a geek. Like straight up, just have him a geek. He's not cool. He's every time y'all want to make him like base. Yeah, just he's a geek. He has no athletic ability. He's never gonna be Mr. Terrific. Okay,
nah.
But then you come up with this. Oh yeah, he's so terrific. Oh, he comes up with us. Oh hey man, I made this device that can cure paralysis. Just hey like Felicity, you go ahead and run that company. You just cure one of the worst things in the world, and you literally just said, "No, I'm good. I'm out. Peace out, Felicity. I'm gonna go hang out with some." Like, no, come on. This dude should be running a company, a corporation. He should be getting a Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, a Nobel Prize, and you just say, "Nah, I'm out. Peace out, Felicity. Run this joint."
Keith says, how he a genius, but Felicity's so much smarter than him. That was the crazy part. He was so much smarter than her, but somehow it was, here's the flowers for Felicity. But like, this dude has done way more. Felicity nuked an entire town, didn't go to jail, have a share a cell with Oliver. She was just chilling, like, whatever. But Curtis was making stuff happen.
Star City and that whole other city where Ragdoll is, his people didn't matter. Like
maybe Oliver brought them all back, so it doesn't matter. And Gunner's like, my boy theorized the Kid Flash came and twisted his hair from every time. That would be another genius move.
That would have been more reason why we couldn't see Kid Flash in the season finale of Flash.
Oh, you're jumping too far ahead now. All right, let's talk about this post Delta maneuver show. Somehow Cecile uses her powers of the mind to stop a speedster, and I'm just very confused how that's supposed to work, because a speedster outside of Quicksilver and Josh Whedon's Avengers Age of Ultron is as fast as the speed of thought. It shouldn't be something of, hey, does that plane have bullets? It does. Let me turn so I can shield this kid from getting hit by the bullets. Instead of, run. Maybe he needed Iris to tell him, run, Pietro, run. Maybe that's what would have worked.
Okay. Like, she was 4 floors up. I mean, and I loved how the CGI, like, she's like, okay, just throw your hands up. Like, there's going to be, but don't worry, we're going to throw a guy there. Don't worry. It's like, just do that. And it was like, oh, and then, hey, every stunt guy we've ever used, come on back. Like,
hey, listen, at least they had the ones that were in shape this time, because there were some Godspeeds. I was like, y'all just got the janitor, you got the donut guy, the caterer, the head of catering to come in, put on the suit. We'll digitally CGI, make you slimmer, and then they forgot to pass them a note down to CGI.
I mean, hey, I've seen Paul Lazenby in enough stuff. I mean, like, you didn't need to have him in the one.
I did. He's killing the town. All right. Run. Perry got a DBZ power. Man, he wishes he got a Dragon Ball power. He needed everything, because they weren't about giving him anything outside of the magic.
I'm gonna say this. Cecile was another one. It's like, no, you're not gonna. It's like the Godspeed War, where you guys all couldn't actually stop Godspeed because he was just randomly. I don't know what the heck his objective of just running around with a bunch of Godspeeds, and there's really one dude who's Godspeed. But literally, at the end of it, he was going against Barry. I don't remember what happened.
He was fighting Barry, and he was fighting Thawne with lightning lightsabers.
Oh,
and I didn't see Cecile.
I forgot it.
I didn't see Cecile with a lightning lightsaber. So that fight shouldn't have existed. And that's what ran Gunner off. When they started zoom.
Yeah, it was like, okay.
Lightsabers.
Barry, with that, Cecile, guy, like,
there's zero way that she beats him.
Again, it's like
she started his go.
If he sees her up there, that means he's got enough time. She can't figure out where he is.
Ooh. He wants to know who was the wackest evil speedster.
Godspeed.
This is a Godspeed just because of lightning lightsabers.
Godspeed. Like that whole every time they tried, because that wasn't the first. They used him like one time before, and then they used him again, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's horrible.
It's like killing it from the lightning lightsabers to just the fat stunt double. I think that's what did it for me with Godspeed. Like, hey, can we pay attention here? Why is he making fat doubles? That's not even looking like him.
It's like, guys, look, we ain't trying. Hey, everybody's got. Hey, we appreciate you guys, who are thrown into the walls and all that. But when it's a speedster, they should burn a whole bunch of calories.
But I mean, it's also the one speedster in a white suit. So if they were Zoom in a black suit, maybe we wouldn't notice, but we can notice the white suit looking a little bit different.
And always at night during the day, it was like,
yeah. Every Godspeed fight was during the day. Like, this guy looks dramatically different than the other one. So yeah, it was ungood, as someone once said. So yeah, so the big fight. Barry wants to try to save Eddie because Eddie once saved him, and he's like, dude, you're not Luke Skywalker. He is not Anakin. He ain't your daddy. And what are we doing here? So it's like, all right, whatever. And Jay is like, hey, man, I don't think you can beat him going this way. And I just wish Jay Garrett had teamed up with Barry so we could have some semblance
of a
cool Flash action.
Why wasn't he?
Because he's a better hero. He doesn't need somebody to go split up. He'd be like, Barry, that's a dumb plan. Let's all attack him at once. Kind of said, oh, my 5-year-old like Godspeed. So like class for peace. You're doing a terrible job of educating yourself. Quality stuff. Godspeed and the nuclear man with the nuclear nails. Whew, doctor. That's bad. And then the constant zooming in on the plated CGI before CGI was the thing.
Oh no, that was we have no money.
The Council of Ricks thing was stupid too. Yeah.
Oh, the Wells
thing. Yeah. Was awful. Not good.
Oh, that was the trickster season, and that was always like kind of that. I know we said no speedsters, but is this really the way to go?
I mean, they could have. They just botched that execution every time. And then Barry's letting people run around killing people, and then like, I'll let you roll. Good thing you got killed. So Barry goes up to Eddie and thanks to Keon going, why don't you come up with a different way? Here's some flowers and rainbows and other assorted. Here's my Fleetwood Mac soundtrack that you can let him listen to. Everything's going to be just fine. I don't know about that, Keon. Trust me, it'll work. Wells only worked as a villain. You know, Wells was good, I think, for the first 3 seasons. And then was it when they brought in the French Wells? Was that season 4?
That was French Wells was season 4. That was kind of Wells.
That was when they kind of got off the whole deal with it, because original Wells was great, and then Harry was awesome. I loved Harry. He was good. I feel like they just should have just kept him on there and not try to go with, well, here's another Wells variant, because those two are really good. And then was the drumming drumsticks? Was that French Wells? I'm getting confused. Huh?
I think that was French Wells.
See, this is the problem. We're losing track of the Wells that they threw out there.
No, what was the fraud Wells?
So that was the one with the drumsticks.
That was the inspiring season
3, right? He was the one that got killed from Savitar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so first 3 Wells were great. Really good characters. And then at that point, it became a bad running joke like everything else. It's like it worked, but then it didn't. All right, so then, you know, Eddie goes, hey, man, thanks for the pep talk. I want to be a hero. We'll get along, and, you know, we'll have some strife, but let's shake on it, pal. So that was how they wrap up the big final episode of The Flash.
Okay.
Let's talk it out.
Big fight of,
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, what is it? Negative versus positive. It's we'll just work it out. Like,
how are we gonna do that? Let's worry about those details.
Dude, we're gonna have another season to figure this out. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, I mean, like,
it was that bad. It was like, wait, what? We've just exhausted the entire special effects budget. That's what you're saying? Because you just should say that. Insert special effects here, because that would have been better than them talking it out.
He goes into the negative speed force, which supposedly when Nora was messing, but I mean, I'm sorry, let me say this.
Which Nora?
I gotta like Barry, Al, and Iris' daughter Nora, who gets killed because Wells Reverse Flash does something actually really cool and actually gets rid of Barry's daughter that would really hurt Barry. I'm sorry, Barry and Iris. That daughter, as soon as she was messing with the negative speed force too much, she started getting negative in that. So how the heck are you going to talk it out just by, because he's taking mega doses of negative speed force to get faster, and then it's just, hey, bro, we should just hug it out. Okay, I think
he got the vaccine. He was all good. It was like, come on, what are we doing here? So we have that foolishness, and then what else is happening? So Chester, we find out what happened with him. Way back when Chester got introduced, he got some black hole abilities, and somehow it absorbed Reverse Flash's lightning. I feel like Chester's been knocked out with stuff before since then, and people have knocked him out. And I definitely remember that episode when he and Cisco went to the past. He couldn't figure out how to get out of that. Maybe he could have ported and gotten back using his black hole ability. Just thought.
How about just never have that? That was just stupid. Like, you can't explain that away. He shouldn't be dead. Like, no. Yeah. Like, no.
Well, the great thing about it, about finding out that Chester has superpowers, is they can focus on it for next season and really develop his powers.
Yeah, there is no next season. I mean, like, I read literally like the writer basically saying, hey, we are having a Flash finale, but if these characters want to go on and do something else in another show, we're fine with it.
Yeah, but the CW is like, it's a no for me, Doc. We're so good.
We're out of this business.
Like, and no,
you may get Superman and Lois, but that's not even guaranteed.
Maybe. Don't hold your breath on that one either. All right, so then we find out. Oh, so then we go out to the hospital, and this was so weird and so dumb and so unnecessary. We got Joe because it's about time to bring Jesse L. Martin back because it made sense for him to be here for the birth of his granddaughter. But Nora's here, and it's really weird. Why does Nora need to be there just to make sure she's born? Also, where's her brother, who might think that was cooler than traveling back in time just to go investigating as a reporter or police officer with the CCPD? Also, hey, is Cisco around? Does he want to send a flower bouquet for one of his best friends having their first child? Oh yeah, and Sue, who's super tight with her. What about Camilla, and Jay, basically the Godfather, and also Wally, who is her soon-to-be uncle, and who has super speed, who could get there in no time. Oh, I'm in Italy. Hold on, I'll be right there.
I mean, it's like you guys could just. I mean, like, you guys wrote this, like, conceivably months ago. You could have filmed, like, hey, guys, what's your schedule look like? I know you don't have anything. How? Like, just 2 seconds.
Where's Wallace? Exactly. It made no sense because we saw Wallace earlier in a really good episode. That was the one that should have ended the thing. Yep. But they could have shot this epilogue hospital scene with everyone who showed up over the course of the season. They should have had Ray there because Ray was cool with them. Felicity because she was really cool and one of Iris's best friends on her bachelorette party. They're sure.
No. Like, literally, like, you could have brought Jamica Leslie back for this.
She would have made sense. Where's Alex or Kara? Characters who are around and knew Iris and Barry and cared and invested in. Where's Elongated Man? That plastic.
Whoa.
We don't speak on him. He is literally the Bruno of the Flash. We don't talk about Ralph. No.
I mean, but that scene, I think, really was just like, hey, guys, you have speedsters. All your speedsters should be there. It really shouldn't be. It's not hard at all. Like, you have them in there. It's not like this is a new set. You could have had Wally just, hey, Wally, we just need to have you right here, take a picture, say, hey, glad to be here, and that's it. That you could. I'm pretty sure he's competent enough to do that scene for 5 seconds and you slice it in. Like,
yeah, it was that was annoying. I was just like, who all should be here that's not here? Oh, yeah. It's a rack of them.
I think it was like when Nora's, it's like, okay, Nora has this Nora is a whole different Nora than the one that had a propensity to actually going in the past and just seeing important moments, not supposedly breaking the timeline. Because, oh my gosh, I am going to pull my keyboard. How many times did they tell Barry not to F with the timeline? Nora has no such compulsion. Like, literally, it's like, oh,
Nora should have joined the Legends of Tomorrow because they didn't care about the timeline and neither did she. Oh, word, I can come see myself as a child.
Hey, you know what I always wanted to do? I wanted to hold myself as a baby. That'd be awesome. The damn is she born? Like,
so weird.
Did anyone just like weird? Guys, I get her thing is just being weird. Like, don't we think that's a little weird? Like,
So bizarre. Just like, okay, guys, y'all don't know what you're doing. And time cop rules should apply. I mean, for real. I just and she was the one inclusion. It was like, why is she here? And where's her brother? Who's with her all the time since he's been introduced? It's like, now he's nowhere to be found.
He's actually guarding Central City on the day. It's pretty sure it's in the past, so you can actually go 5 seconds in the past and come back exactly when you get there. Like, I mean, that was always the rule when Barry actually did something.
Barry had a top 20 list of things to not do.
I mean, like, in the past. Jay, I mean, like, where was Jay? Like, every time these morons tried to do it, Jay's like, "What are you doing? Like, you can't go back and mess with time. What are you guys doing?" Barry, did I not teach you something not to mess with time? Why have your kids just decided,
That's why Jay kidnapped you on the show long term, because he was just too sensible. But you know what would have been awesome? And I feel like they killed so much of this moment, which should have been a moment. We're ending the series with a childbirth, for that to be a dude. That would have been awesome. They're like, wait, this isn't Nora. Who is this? Let's call him Baby Joe. Because all this time they were acting like they had the big spoiler book of everything. That would have been a nice shakeup. Oliver was like, just kidding, Barry. You actually have a boy.
Yeah, like that. I was actually expecting that. Like, it was like, because Nora's just all like, "Yeah, it's me." And then it's like, "Hey, guess what? This isn't your timeline because you keep screwing up." Like, and it's actually the repercussion you every time. Because, like, I mean, who was it? Gosh, Diggle, when he found out he have a daughter because Barry screwed up the timeline.
Yes.
Nora does it all the time.
Every episode. Every time she shows up, she's messing up the time stream. So that was just annoying for no reason whatsoever. I did like Joe's doing a song so we could see the flashback of Barry and Iris, because I felt like we didn't see enough Barry and Iris throughout this episode. But we did make sure to get a lot of that Keon screen time, because that's so necessary. Everyone's bawling like, "Oh, it's so sad to see you go away, and it's so bad." And and I'm trying to figure out what Keon is elevating up to. She's a goddess already, so what is she leveling up to?
Well,
goddess level 2.
At some point they were like, "All right, now that the negative speed force isn't there, you're taking over." It's like, no, like, Dawn's right there. Like, what are you guys saying she's doing? Like, are you saying like she's taking over for those daggone useless forces you guys made? Barry and Adam.
Where were the other kids? Where were the other kids?
Like, are we saying she's just like deleting them? She's decided, hey, I'm the goddess of everything. Like,
yeah. See, that was another problem with those stupid forces. They never should have introduced them, because they made no sense. And they're like, "Well, there are kids." No, they are not. What are you doing? Just stupid.
I hate to say it. It's like, that was one of those things that like was so eye-rolling. I think that was when people started to dislike Iris a little more. Other than like I think people hated her line, "We are the Flash." Like, and even she's like, "Yeah, that wasn't."
It was funny. She clowned that line too.
Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, that was. I didn't want to say that, but they asked me." But it was very much like that. Was like, come on, guys, like. We're all sensible. Like, are they trying to have kids, or are they trying to adopt 30-year-old
sisters? Like, and one who looks like his mama. Like, that's some weird issues, Barry.
Like, come on. I mean, like, Barry, how just like, "Hey, you're not my mom, Nora, so why am I going to continue to call you Nora? Like, go away. Like, for real. Like,
change into another form."
She's like, somebody else I'm cool with. I don't need to see my dead mom. Like, me, like. This is what I like, the second episode of this New World, and they actually have Barry kind of, we're going to explain who that second Flash was that we saw in season 2 of Flash. Like, okay, that's cool. Like, that was
the second episode. I thought that was the first one.
First or second? I don't remember. I thought it was the second. That's why I was like, okay, all right, this is good.
I'm pretty sure. No, because the second one was we found out what happens with Team Flash while Barry's way having his best episode. That's what happened. And that was a throwaway, complete train wreck of episode, because who cares about these characters?
But that, I think I was like, okay, this got some legs somewhere. Okay, this is gonna wrap up all the plot holes that Gunner mentioned. Like, we're gonna fill all them, concrete them in. They're gonna be done.
But it won't, though.
But no.
All right, so then Barry decides to pull out the runaway dinosaur, a nod to one of the best episodes of Flash, where he realizes he cannot save his mother, and this is the last time we really should have seen his mother on the show. And then he's like, I should share my speed with other people. It's like, we have Wally. And this feels irresponsible of him to go out and just throw his power out to people who we've never seen throughout the entire course of this series. And it's Avery Ho, character, really great character, who was introduced during Joshua Williamson's amazing run of the Flash back when DC Rebirth started. Really good. She was introduced right alongside Godspeed and Mina. So she's cool, but it was like, who's going to know that if they weren't reading DC Rebirth Flash? And those people reading DC Rebirth Flash probably like, what the heck did y'all do to Godspeed? I am so far removed from this show. Thank you. Then we had Max Mercury, and I don't know if anyone would know that guy was supposed to be Max Mercury, because Max in the comic books has white hair. And
he had a ponytail.
He had a ponytail, but he didn't have white hair. It's like you had to really listen. And then we had Jess Chambers, the non-binary character that's just been introduced, so we could have another Flash character in DC Pride. And
wondering who that was. So
that's who Jess Chambers is. The new Future State Justice League Flash character. Okay. And it's like, dude, no one cares. Why are you introducing 3 new characters we're never going to see in the show? If you want to, introduce them earlier in the season, not at the last second. It's just crazy to me.
It was like, again, it was very much like, we want you to think that the show is ending, but the world of Flash is going to continue. It's like,
oh, it's ending.
Like, how many damn speedsters do we need in Central City? Like,
all the speedsters.
I'm pretty sure it's like, I'm trying to figure out, is there more Green Lanterns or speedsters in Central City? I'm not sure what's the number really.
It's a toss-up.
I was like, okay, I'm like, I know I'm getting frustrated, but this is how you wrap up your show. Like, all right, what's the big thing you guys are trying to get across? All right, Barry and Alan, Iris, what is you wrapping up their story? No. Okay. Are you wrapping up Cobalt Blue and how now Eddie Thawne is, Barry's long lost brother or son? Nope. Okay. Okay. All right. So Nora, the Speed Force, is she gonna now become like the Super Speed Force and help all the speedsters? Nope. Okay. So what are we trying to accomplish here? Like, just other than throw everybody together and call an episode? And I know how, like, sometimes they say, like, I know you mentioned, like, we were talking about fan service, like, oh, they're gonna have all these people here, and I love fan service. This did not seem like it was fan service. It was just, hey, let's bring everybody back, instead of having an actual storyline where you had a 4-part finale where you could have introduced.
You had an arc,
like you gave Reverse Flash his moment. You wrapped him up. You could have done. I mean, Godspeed had no reason to be there at all. Like, his crap is. I mean, his Speed Force Lightning lightsaber ended him completely. Zoom dead. Like, like he dead. He got the ring. I mean, he's got the Dark Racer. He's done. Like as much as I did like him, I like him as a character. But it's like, you can't bring him back, and then you can't bring him back for some weak sauce like this.
That was the thing. I mean, let's bring him back to get him punked out.
Yeah, it's like, okay. All right, so it's like, if you wanted to make Eddie this big bad, all right, that's a way to go. But what's the end game? I'm gonna talk it to him.
I just felt like this show really lost its way after Crisis. Like, the build up to Crisis was amazing, really good, really strong performances, great episodes after great episodes. It was like, man, you guys are making it feel like Flash is gonna die and his series is about to end, not Oliver and Arrow. But after that, it was just one bad choice after another. Let's throw Mirror Monarch in here. Let's do this whack character. Hey, let's introduce the Flash good guy rogues to fight Red Death, who was here for no reason, when we should have been slowly introducing everything to set up Eddie Thawne becoming the main big bad. Just really questionable choices all around. And like I said, I feel like if you want to do a bonus, you can watch that Arrow episode, but I don't think you need to watch anything else of this season or this series post Crisis. What are your thoughts?
It's hard to argue with that because I mean, like I said, I was like most of these characters on this last season. I liked the crossover they did with Thrawn, where he basically does a reverse Flash Speed Force Crisis or Flashpoint. Like I like that one, but in total, you don't really. I mean, it didn't go anywhere. Like you've had like pocket episodes, but like the Mirror Monarch that took 2 years to finish, and it was garbage. Basically them trying to always keep Barry and Iris apart. It literally seemed like they had beef, honestly.
Right.
I literally thought, I mean, because I was literally like waiting for Candace Patton to be like, now the Flash is going, I'm going ham. Like, I can stand Green Custody. I told that
dude bombs.
Like, oh man, she was literally going, I was expecting her to hit like, Tupac level,
right.
I mean, when we ride, like I was expecting her to just go fire. But she's like, no, actually I told Barry, Grant, hey, if this show ended, I'm out. This is gonna be my last season. And then he said, "Hey, it's also gonna be my last season." And we hugged it out. Like this is so much.
You're right, Gunner. Crisis should have been the end if they weren't gonna do anything else. And I feel like they should have been like, without Arrow, do we have an Arrowverse? No. Well, let's start a whole new generation of shows. Let's do Superman and Lois. Let's do Stargirl. Let's do another show, preferably where we keep Batman alive without having to kill him to make another Bat character relevant.
If we had Batman on TV, it would confuse people.
Well, good thing we don't have to worry about that with the movies.
Okay, but I think they had teased Crisis and they needed to do Crisis. I think
Or here's my idea. They could have just made Crisis a whole crossover. It should have been like, we're shutting down every other show. Crisis is going to run for 20 episodes, and we're just going to call it the Arrowverse. We'll just label it Arrow, Flash, Legends, Batwoman, etc. But it's really just going to be Crisis. And that's it. We're going to wrap this entire thing after 22 episodes of Crisis. And I feel like they would have done the story right, would have had the money, the budget to sell it without just doing, here's Crisis in 4 episodes and you're welcome.
Well, I always remember they said like these crossovers were more money because if you went to another show, you got paid more. You could have. I mean,
that's 22.
I would have been worried too. Like them crossover 22 episodes. Like, hey, this is our whole.
They could have done it in 10. I mean, 4 was too short for Crisis. They did Invasion in 4 episodes.
No, I say Crisis was not done in 4. I say Crisis was done truthfully in all of Flash. His first until Crisis was Crisis. Oliver was Crisis because you always had somebody.
Yeah, those are cool too.
And then the episodes right before, like Black Lightning's, his tie-in for Crisis was really good, which I think was a disservice with him not to. It's like we're gonna pump Batwoman, but this Black Lightning thing, we're gonna hold on. It's like that was a better show, and I think they made a giant mistake not saying, "Hey, no." Like I know you critics, quote unquote, did not like the show, but I want all our fans like this is a guy we want to show. Like Black Lightning is this mature hero. He's got his daughters, which. I mean, y'all, that was their season 1 mistake too.
That's so right. So
yeah, and then you could have added John Diggle as Green Lantern and had that ride through the whole Crisis. Last season, and then you could have hey, instead of trying to do this backdoor pilot to the Canaries. How about we do Green Lantern? They just did such stupid mess after Crisis.
And they could have put the Legion of Superheroes in the Crisis crossover because we had a few from Supergirl. There are a lot of bad decisions, but let's put a bow on the Flash. never watched this season. Stop it, Crisis. Go watch on Netflix the episode where Oliver shows up and call it the epilogue to everything in the Arrowverse.
The Crisis. It's the Crisis epilogue. Because I mean, after that, like, I don't know, you got lucky. You didn't watch an episode of Supergirl.
No, I pieced out on that. I was like,
yeah, you made the right call on that. Me and Chief were like, "Ooh, God, why are we watching this thing?" But we kept watching, and it was like, "Man, this is a turd sandwich, man."
It really stinks. Yeah,
and then you're like, oh, "Okay, well, it brought us Superman alone, and that's your still shining light of the CW." And it's like, this is where, even if it's bad, it's still better than, honestly, this series finale of Flash. I would probably take a 10-minute serving of the teenagers versus this.
I think you've gone too far.
I probably did. All
right. Maybe now it's that time. It is that time. Dear brother and Gunner, since you're here with us on chat line, who's your nominee for Dummy of the Week?
I'm going to say the easy one is me, for not stopping watching Flash at the end of that Arrow episode where we all said, hey, this will work as a series finale. And we just said, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a try. See if they've improved any. See if this vintage is any better. No, it still tastes like sour grapes. Like, no,
it is not.
So that was for me for 4 more hours of watching Flash instead of just calling it I'm a dummy.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'm going to go with that news nugget that you shared, that they're still going to rock with Ezra Miller, basically based on how much money this Flash movie makes, where I feel like, let's be generous and say 70% of the people who are interested in seeing this movie are there for Michael Keaton Batman. That's my thought. See, Gunn, you can't nominate us. That's not cool, man.
He's not wrong, man.
He's not wrong.
But for honestly, like them trying to say, hey, we're gonna continue with Ezra Miller. It's like your whole thing is gone. Like, because I watched, what was it, Shazam 2, and I didn't dislike the movie.
What you watch it on?
I watched it on Max.
Oh, it's on Max now, so I can finally watch it.
Yeah, it's a little sillier, but it's not bad. But it's like the post credits, and you're like, dude, why is he like? Come on, guys, you don't have to do this. Like, you want him to be taken seriously, and this is on you. This is on you guys. So,
all right, so now I can watch. Now I can watch Shazam. Fury of the Gods.
I mean, like again, and the funny thing is, like on Saturday, had a double feature, and you watch Shazam, and then you watch Shazam 2. But funny, I watched Shazam 1, and I know what the trailer, the second teaser is supposed to be. They changed that for the release. It no longer has them in the cave talking about, hey, we should have one more scene. They changed that out to do something. I don't know what it was. It was just like, wait a minute. I know
it's important to buy your Blu-rays.
Oh, and it was so shady. It's like, Steve Rock, man, I mess with you most things, but this was shady. Like, nah, I want them talking about me. Like, come on. Like,
no gutter. We're gonna watch them this Saturday. All right. Well, thank you as always, dear brother, for rolling with me. Gunner, thanks for being on the chat with us. Thank you for everybody else. Keith, Mike, everybody watching and listening to this episode later. This episode allows movie files has been filed.